Hello everybody. In this video, I have a update to give you, and I wanted to look at this token called KITE because I took a trade on it and it went well, but I want to show you what I did and how I could improve. So, first the update. I have had issues with power outages, so I ordered a secondary backup power supply. I already have one, but it's kind of small. And the one I ordered has like 3 times as many watt hours that'll run all my electric stuff and computer desk and extra monitors and refrigerator and all that. So I ordered that and I'm just waiting for it to be shipped and get here. It's actually shipped. I don't know when it'll be delivered though. But I'm excited about that because I'm on solar power and it's been summer here in Australia and it's been hot and I have needed to use the air conditioning, and it's drained the power. I also had some issues with my internet, but those are kind of ongoing, and that'll be the next thing to work on later. But there is some tree coverage here. There's lots of trees, and it's hard to have something like Starlink where I'm at. So I took a trade on this KITE token, and I wanted to show you some stuff really quick. On the Discord and my channel, you can see that I mentioned KITE. This one went well. It doesn't always go well. That's why I say not financial advice, never financial advice. It's just educational purposes. But this went just the way I thought it would. So I wanted to share it and just show you, my procedure. Really, this should be one on here because this is when my alert goes off when this fast MA crosses the middle band. Once that happens, I start looking. Was there shark fin recently? Has the fast MA been above the 50? Once I start looking for stuff like that and I find it and I see like a flip zone as well, and then price breaking it and getting to the other side, then I'm really interested. So I mentioned this one, and I took a trade on it, as a matter of fact. Mowgli's just killing it, by the way. So he traded the same thing right after I went long on it. He shorted it. But anyway, this is my trade, and I'm going to show you on TradingView, show you what I did and how I could improve. And it's really easy to replicate this style of trading, which I've developed. It's unique, trading the crossovers, using continuation divergences for continuation trades. It's, basically all TDIX. It was only 64%, but it's something, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with small wins. It just doesn't bother me anymore. I just don't really care what other people think. I'm glad people are getting, 8.5x on their trades. That's a 50x though. So, it's, if there's volatility, it could be risky, but Mowgli knows what he's doing. So I want to show you this and how I could have improved on it. And another thing, for people who haven't looked at this, where is it? Here we go. I wanted to show you this little diagram, and it kind of just details all of, the process of how I look for trades and when I enter them and reasons I'll hold them or get out. So I wanted to share that. You can read this if you're in our Discord, and or you could have paused it. And here's like, the order in which you should read it. That'll make more sense if you read it blue, purple, orange, white, red. If you read it in that order, it will make a lot of sense. And here's how you set your alerts for, getting alerted when these crossovers occur. So this is KITE, and as you can see, I've marked some lines on here. These are opposing levels, like a weekly. A W is like a weekly opposing level, like right here. And I've got another weekly way up here, which price is getting to finally. I've got some 3 days marked, a daily. These are the really important ones, are right here in the middle. And this 1 hour is kind of important, but let's get to it. This here, it had a strong 3-day opposing level, which became a flip zone. That got my attention when I saw that after my alert went off. And so here it was the resistance, and then this here is support. It was perfect, and it was very precise. I'm looking at it on the daily, but when you see it on the 3-day right here, that's where I drew that line at the top of this red candle body. And then, there was one nearby, a daily, that was important. So I marked it. And that was at the top of this red candle body here. And that was important when you look at the low time frames. So looking at the 4 hour, it starts to come into focus. You had your resistance here. I saw that. And price was around here, approaching that resistance. I started marking my levels. And that's also at the same time, roughly, that I mentioned it here when I mentioned it, because it had approached that level, but it was going beyond it. And TDIX was showing me that there was a high likelihood that it would go through it. So that's why I shared that one with the bullish bias. Now, this all went off, and then, it had a lot of sideways time here. When you measure it, it would have been messing around in this area for 4 days. So there was plenty of time to take a look at this, do some TA. There was plenty of time to enter a trade. And, I felt like I caught it towards the end. But anyway, so this 3-day level here, this key level 3D, became the first flip zone. That was the first flip zone. Let's look at the 4 hour here. And, price got above the 3-day, and then it had resistance at this area, but then it was holding above the 3-day and just kind of crunched in between support and resistance. And in this area, it created a bull div on the 15-minute. So anyway, when you look at it like this on the 15, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's very clear on the 15-minute that this was your 3-day became support, where price finally got above it. But look at how precise it was on the daily. So I noticed this before I entered a trade. I was like, well, there's a 3-day flip zone, but it keeps hitting this area here and not getting above it. And I want to see that break before I enter a trade. I even entered way up here. But, you could have entered here. Like when you've seen this wick and this bullish engulfing candle right here. Let's get it right in the middle, right nice and big. When you've seen this after it was resistance, you've got a flip zone from here to here. And, here's your bounce off of the 3-day. So anyway, on the 15-minute, there was a hidden bull div, and, a higher low with a lower low on the oscillator, and that's the hidden bull div. So what you also see here in my style of trading, you see that I take notice when the fast MA, this white line, is above the 50, showing that it's trending up. And then these shark fins that happen before a crossover are usually really good. Now, on my trade, I didn't say this in there, but I entered here. I entered right here where I would say to enter. Whoops. I entered, and then my stop loss got hit. Like, I entered there. And I got stopped out. Now, this looked good. This was looking good. But then I was like, what's going on here? Because it started coming down, and I got out. And I did a little more TA while it closed, and there was a fair value gap here. It was a big fair value gap on the 15. There was this gray box is a bullish order block because of these big candles. This last opposite colored red candle here becomes the order block. And when you had an overlapping fair value gap with a bullish order block like that, usually a really good sign. And then I seen this big candle bounce off of this zone, and I was like, okay, you got the hidden bull is finally playing out. You got a bounce. I was in. I was like, okay, I'm getting in. Now, I did get stopped out when it went down here, and then I re-entered, and then it was like right around here. I entered after this candle was about to close. And I wasn't, totally sold on the idea that it would go very high. So I was checking other levels like Trend X. Always check your Trend X. I actually took profit up. It was up here. There was a Trend X level somewhere around there. I don't know if there's exact numbers. I have it on the trade results channel, but I just put this here and to kind of represent where my trade was. But you have this movement around here, but sometimes the divergence doesn't play out immediately. This first time it didn't, but then it did here. But what I noticed when that happened was the bounce from this area, the fair value gap and the order block zone. But I noticed this on the 15-minute, which was important to me, and then I got down to the 5-minute after that. But I seen it, I was like, okay, it's not wanting to go below the 50. This is bullish. As soon as it did that, that was that candle, and a big and bullish engulfing candle. I'm like, okay, I got to get into this. So I went to the 5-minute and looked at it, and it did the same thing pretty much on the 5-minute. It tried to go below in the bearish sentiment, but it didn't. It came back above and above the 50, and so I entered my trade. And there was a Trend X R1 level here, so I took profit. But look at what happened after I took profit. So the TA was good, but I took profit way too early. But after I took profit, I seen these doji candles, and I was like, oh, this thing could reverse. But no, instead, it made a big wick on top of the Trend X level, even tapped the Trend X level here. So like, you see it's reacting to these Trend X levels. Never neglect Trend X. It's so powerful. So I could have held that. That's one of the things I did wrong. I could have taken 50% of the profit because I felt a little, like maybe this KITE doesn't have enough volume to hold a trade. Apparently it did. Later, the volume increased quite a bit. Well, it was on the 15. It really started getting volume. There was what was increasing around here was you could see the volume moving average coming up. And I should have taken better notice of that, but it is what it is. I learned from it. And Mowgli shorted this, of course he did, at 50x leverage. That's great. But, this is my trading style and it works for me, and I'm the one trading my trade, so I'm happy with it. Yes, sometimes I would feel like a little bit of FOMO. It's a flip zone right here. Anyway, it's the Trend X level, but I might mark this up because I'm not sold on this trend being over yet. Anyway, yeah, that was it. I could have held it longer. The TA was good, and one of the main problems I had was that it was the 4-hour TA that I neglected. Because see, I initially used the 4-hour to tell me that I wanted an entry. And then I went down to the 15 and the 5 for my entry. And I forgot. It was like I forgot that this entry was based on 4-hour TA, and there was a lot more room to run. See, I could have really made some profit. I could have made like almost 300% profit if I would have held it, which is fine. But I wanted to share that. Why I entered, what the process was, how I can improve, and all that. So I hope this video helps people. I've had some people ask some questions, and I wanted to show it on an actual trade, And I might try to make a habit of this to where I share my trades I take and then show you what went well, what didn't, how it can be improved, and kind of do like a video type of trading journal with it or something. You know, not just for me, but for whoever's watching. So I hope this helps. And for anybody that's watching this and doesn't use Easy Algo, just click my video description. And if you want to sign up, if you want to get this TDIX to trade, to help you trade and win trades and make money trading, if you sign up, you know, please use my affiliate link in the description. That would help me, and I would definitely help you and assist you privately in our private Discord. All you have to do is DM me. And yeah, so thanks for listening, and I hope this helps. And that's how I do it. That's how I find my trades, and that's what I do. And yeah,